yeah. Cause you know what the time calls, yeah. Cause I know what you need, yeah. We can drip it slow, yeah. We can grip the grain, yeah. As you already know, yeah. Then. Ay. Switching flows while I'm switching hoes. Ay, J champion.
Flows in my wood grain. Yeah, by the best game. I used to sell that grain. Get it out the trunk with it. Yeah, I used to stay fly kicks with the pumps in. Yeah, I get it all day. And you know I stay with chips like Frito Lay. That's how big fun and then we'll be rapping now though.
One in time. We been right.
Ready, you ready for another one?
Oh, yeah. This shit hard.
Or something like this too.
Why this beat so complex?
Yeah, this shit hard too.
Just wait till it drop. Yeah. This one go crazy too. I don't know if you like Larry June.
I really don't, but I like his beats.
What you think?
Yeah, beat hard.
I don't know if you heard this one. Oh, you was just playing that for me, huh? I don't know how you feel about the drill beats. Looking ass, huh?
Nah, yeah, that's too much. Hey. Yeah, that's hard.
Festool tools are
This be hard too.
Will you rap over something like that?
Come on, man. Yeah.
I'm not, man. I'm crazy to the. Yes, sir.
They sampled this shit.
I think so.
Yeah, this shit hard too. I'm not paying for no motherfucking account to read no book.
You like.
Yeah, this be hard.
Lego got it right.
Hmm.
Slap Cartel.
Yeah, this shit hard.
Come on now, Torson.
Oh yeah, this hard too.
I know time's been tough. I know you've been lonely. I know things get hard sometimes. HT.
I think you gonna like this one.
That's no fucking beats. Yeah, this shit hard.
You gonna fuck with this one. Sound like some Tokyo shit, huh?
That shit was hard.
Let me play you some real shit.
Apartments.com makes searching so easy.
I already know you gonna fuck with this one.
Yeah, that's hard. got these on a playlist?
Yeah, I saved them to your playlist.
Yeah, just keep saving them. Hold on, let me call my shorty, bro.
Yeah. Go ahead, go.
Yo, oh. Hello.
Yo.
Yo. You said my shit fucked up?
It was.
Huh?
It was.
I'm saying, bro, if you don't want to talk, just say that. Ain't nothing wrong with my shit.
It was.
You said it was, but it's not now?
Yeah, like at the beginning it was, but not no more.
Interesting. How ironic.
Yeah, right.
What's good? None.
Waiting to shower.
None with who?
Come on, you obviously know what I said.
I'm saying, why are you saying that?
I said nothing.
Oh. Sound like you said something else. I was about to slap the shit out you.
No, you wasn't.
Yeah, you're right. No point. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. You know what I mean? Gotta do some more research.
What?
Ready for some history, Babs? I know you took last night off, but you need to get right back into it.
No, we ain't take last night off.
Yes, we did. Who'd you learn about last night?
What you mean? We went through them pics.
That does not. All right, bro.
Told you I was about to take a shower.
You ain't never gonna learn shit in life till everybody else learn it. If you ask me, that says it all.
Yeah, sure, Beps. We got a surprise for you.
All of the good books, they don't have PDFs. Access restricted item. Get the fuck up out of here. Wow. Philip II. What do you think? What do you think?
In the stem of the Duchy of Bishops, Prince Bishop of Augsburg, from 1768 until area. Yes, they view the Pope as Caucasian states that he put. So let's read the narrative that the elite Caucasians have to come up with to try and explain off why these crests. Shalom, shalom to the brethren them. But as you can see on the far right, you see, this goes to show you,
KMZ history.
read down, kidnapped from Africa, raised to become the military engineer general in Russia, and all of his children became Russian nobility. Okay.
People. Now, if you don't know what the dolichocephalic is the shape of the Negro skull. Hallelujah. And then another body of evidence that we brought out, we pointed out in archaeology, specifically the Lakesh relief. The Lakesh relief depicts the bruise of Judah, specifically the tribe of Judah, as being a nappy, woolly-headed people. Not only that, at Lakesh, there was an archaeological dig which occurred there, and where they dug up all the bones, and they did a cranial analysis on the bones, and they identified the bones of the bruise as being a Egypto-Nubian people. Hallelujah. Not only that, but we also took a look at DNA family, and we proved that the so-called African American, as well as other Negroes around the world, we literally match the bruise at one of the archaeological sites. And we also matched the dispersion pattern of the bruise in Africa. There were certain places that the bruise of Spain and Portugal were dispersed to in Africa, and so-called African Americans matched that dispersion pattern. Hallelujah. All right. So that's it for, as far as like the bruise of Spain and Portugal. But I also want to review who the bruise of Spain and Portugal say they are. Unlike many of us in the dispersion, the bruise of Spain and Portugal knew exactly who they were. They actually had their genealogies, right? And a lot of their neighbors knew who they were because the bruise in Spain and Portugal knew who they were. So with that being said, fam, let's just read a few references of the bruise of Spain and Portugal telling us which tribe they belong to. So with that being said, let's take a look at the following reference, which reads, "The Western Jews pretend, moreover, that some of the most considerable families of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin went and settled in Sephard or Spain." Hallelujah. All right, fam. So we can see here that the bruise believe.
What you want to learn about the Scots? Who? Pick one. You got to learn about something tonight.
Sure.
I'm just joking. I'm done teaching people who don't want to learn. Just being funny. We know you don't like learning.
They were from the tribe of Judah and Benjamin, which we refer to as the house of Judah or the children of Judah. All right. And also, let's just read a little bit more of this reference. And it says, and that it is among them that the royal line is best preserved, on which account they have looked upon the rest of their nation with a singular contempt. We're just going to end it right here, fam. The main thing, fam, from this reference, you can see that the Brews of Spain and Portugal believed that they were from the house of Judah, which was Judah, Benjamin, and also Levi, which is not mentioned in this reference. But also, fam, that because they believed that they were from the royal lineage, unfortunately, it caused them to treat their brothers a certain type of way, right? A few of these references talk about the Brews of Spain and Portugal looking down upon their brothers, and that's not a good thing, fam. That's not a good thing. But let's go on to the next reference, fam.
Little bad bitch. Yeah, she shaking ass. Yeah, with her stinking ass.
Not me.
This reference reads, for this one, Aragon, which is in Spain, hand side, and it says, at a conference held in Aragon, which is in Spain, before the anti-pope in 1414, this number was also given by the Jews. Barbanel afterwards gave the same number, but divided it into 40,000 families of Judah, 10,000 of Benjamin, and the priests. Hallelujah. All right, fam. So you can see in this particular reference, when they're talking about the Brews of Spain and Portugal, they're especially a Barbanel breaks them up from Judah. On the right hand side,
Remember this, the Scattered Nation in Jewish Christian magazine.
What?
Aww.
Scattered Nations?
The Scattered Nation in Jewish Christian magazine. I found it, don't worry. I fucking love it.
Oh, nasty.
Are you saying that? It's like you want me to slap that. know if I slap that, I kill that.
Y'all killed nothing.
Okay. Alright, I got them books.
A bit of before presided, I believe. And what I'm going to show David located near the top, and then Solomon David. Take a look at this genealogy. It goes back all the way back to King David, right? You'll see the tax collectors. They were the governors. They were the leaders of the synagogues. So the Brews of Spain and Portugal knew about the Negroes because they played an important part in the governing of the Brews in Spain and Portugal. And with that being said, fam, what you see on the screen is one of the genealogies of the Yaya Negroes. And if you take a look at this genealogy, it goes of the genealogies of the Yaya Negroes. And if you take a look at this genealogy, it goes back all the way back to King David, right? You'll see the name David located near the top in the Negroes. And
should check all the tribes back.
Gonna go shower real quick.
Nah,
What you mean, nah?
I don't think so.
You wanna stay on?
For what? You're not going nowhere.
Dude, I really got to shower, babs. I feel dirty.
That's too fucking bad now, isn't it?
Excuse me? Have a shower?
Oh shit.
Please, baby.
But no.
Please, sir, can I get a shower?
No.
Too bad. Because I'm fucking going.
Alright, bye. I need to focus anyways. I said I need to focus.
Take a look at this genealogy. It goes back all the way back to King David, right? You'll see the name David left. But the takeaway here, family, is that history taken away from him.
What you mean?
David, the son of Abraham. Abraham, which was the son of Aram, tribe of Judah, or just the house of Judah specifically. And let me show you what I'm talking about, fam. So if you go to the book of Luke, see, fam, that has to be fulfilled that he's talking about. We'll read that here in a moment. And it says, verse 23, but woe to them that are with child, and to them that have gifts in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath. Has to do with the laws, and it has to do with the Lancados who were running the transatlantic slave trade in West Africa. Just to talk about this real quick, fam, there's this thing called the Manuelian Ordinances. The Manuelian Ordinance were the laws that governed the transatlantic slave trade from the Portuguese perspective. Remember, the Portuguese were the ones that were running it. They were the ones that were sending the Lancados inland to work with the African chiefs to get the people. And now the Lancados were operating by the Manuelian laws. Manuelian laws were authorizing the Brews to be taken captive. If you have a chance, fam, check out the Hidden Hebrews King David 2 video, or the King David 2 presentation, which talks about these Lancados, which talks about the Manuelian laws. This is one of the primary reasons why we know that the transatlantic slave trade wasn't random, it was targeted, and that the tribe of Judah was primarily the ones that were taken onto the slave ships, or the house of Judah was primarily the ones that were taken onto the transatlantic slave ships. Why was the tribe of Judah taken onto the transatlantic slave ships? Because they had a prophecy that they had to fulfill. Hallelujah. Not only that, fam, but if you have taken a DNA test and have uploaded your results to My True Ancestry or GEDmatch, the answer of who you are is listed in your DNA results. For example, if you go to GEDmatch and go to the MDLP World 22 calculator and look at your single population results, if you have Limba as your closest genetic match, you are from Judah, or you are from the house of Judah. Or if you go to mytrueancestry.com and go to your results located on the analysis summary section and select modern populations to view your closest modern day population matches, and if your top genetic population match is Limba, then you are of the tribe of Judah or the house of Judah. Why is that? Well, the Limba know exactly where and when they came from in Israel. They know that they were exiled into Babylon by King Nebuchadnezzar, who took the house of Judah into exile in roughly 587 to 589 BC. Babylon took the southern kingdom into captivity during that time, not the northern kingdom. That's a historical fact. Also, the book of Nehemiah and Ezra lists the families who returned from the Babylonian captivity. And the Limba's forefather of Senna is literally listed in the Bible. Not only that, the Limba know that they descend from the southern kingdom Brews who refused to divorce their wives, their strange wives, when they returned back to Jerusalem. The Bible explicitly tells us what tribes these men were from. Let's go to the book of Ezra, chapter 10, and we're going to read down to verse 9, but let's start at verse 1 to get some context. And it reads, "Now when Ezra had prayed and when he had confessed, weeping and casting himself down before the house of Yah, there assembled unto him out of Israel a very great congregation of men and women and children, for the people wept very sore. And Sheshaniah the son of Jehiel, one of the sons of Elam, answered and said unto Ezra, We have trespassed against our Yah, and have taken strange wives of the people of the land. Yet now there is hope in Israel concerning this thing." Let's drop down to verse 9 to see where these men are from, what tribes these men are from. And it reads, verse 9, "Then all the men of Judah and Benjamin gathered themselves together unto Jerusalem within 3 days." Well, there we go, fam. The men of Judah and the men of Benjamin. Now, where did we see the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, fam? That would be the Brews of Spain and Portugal. And let's just reread this reference that we read at the beginning of this session. And it reads, "The Western Jews pretend, moreover, that some of the most considerable families of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin went and settled in Sephard or Spain." So again, we're seeing the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. Let's just reread one more reference to drive the point home. And we're going to read on the right side, and it reads, "At a conference held in Aragon," this is in Spain, "before the anti-pope in 1414, this number was also given by the Jews. Abarbanel afterwards gave the same number, but divided it into 40,000 families of Judah and 10,000 families of Benjamin and the priests." So of course, fam, you can see that Judah was the largest family in Spain. Hallelujah. All right, fam. So your closest DNA matches the Limba, who are from the house of Judah, and it matches the Brews in Spain, who also state that they are from the house of Judah. You got it, fam? This is DNA fact. This is why you are not Dan. This is why you are not Gad, and why you are definitely not Ephraim. Let's keep it real, fam. The narrative that so-called black people are from Ephraim is purely an Ashkenazi Jew narrative. Whenever Ashkenazi Jews induct so-called black Jews or black people into their fold, they almost always refer to them as the Northern Kingdom. They assign them to the tribes of Dan and Gad.
So but you are coming, it's timely.
So let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You are saying that the Igbo people have lost their identity because...
Contact with their God, with their maker, with their origin.
Okay. How do we know? We were this week, Abraham, we were in the place called Ibugad.
Obugad,
the place, the palace of God.
Yes.
We saw some things there. How do we know? If you are to tell me succinctly, how do we know? Do you believe that you are ancestors from the tribe of God?
Of course,
we believe that we are ancestors
Then
of the
everybody
tribe of God.
is.
Let me make it more clearer. Just like you rightly said before, that even after the dispersion of the children of Israel, that the 10 tribes, that there were other tribes that deflated to Judah.
That's right.
And that is to say,
A portion.
Judah is a mixture of other tribes.
That's right.
Good. Now, when you come to this very part of the world that where the Igbos do exist, yes, we are called the tribe of God because the first person to enter here among all the tribes is God Himself. But we have other tribes scattered all over the place. We have other tribes scattered all over the place. We have the tribe of Judah. We have the tribe of Judah. We have the tribe of Judah. We have so many
tribe of God
and Levi in this very place.
Right.
Now, so but the all put together, like we have already said most of.
Uniqueness here that we cannot ignore with the tribe of God. But there's some uniqueness here that we cannot ignore with the tribe of God. But there's some uniqueness here that we cannot ignore with the tribe of God.
The tribe of Gad family, really? Come on now. Are you from the tribe of Gad? Are you from the tribe of Dan or the house of Ephraim? Did you know, fam, that many so-called Negroes today have Spanish and Portuguese Jew surnames and don't even know it? In fact, they're called by the Spanish and Portuguese Jew surname Negro and don't even know why. When they run their DNA reports, they have Spanish and Portuguese Jews who themselves say they are from the house of Judah show up in their DNA family match list and don't even know why. Let's keep it 100, fam. Did you know that the Igbo and the Yoruba are not your closest DNA match in Africa? The people in Africa who your DNA matches the closest to is not the Igbo, it's not the Yoruba, it's the Limba, who are from the house of Judah. Now, I'm referring to your genetic distance value. And your genetic distance value will tell you if someone is your closest family or if someone is your distant relative. So per your genetic distance value, the Limba are your closest relative. So remember, family, it was Judah who was scattered to the four corners of the earth per the scriptures. So therefore, we should not be surprised that we, who were scattered to the four corners of the earth, closely match a people in Africa who say they are from the house of Judah. In fact, the places in Africa where your DNA has the highest concentration are the places where the Portuguese Jews settled, who say they are from the house of Judah. You got to catch this, fam. Your DNA also has the highest concentration in a place literally called the Kingdom of Judah. That's a place in Africa, fam, where your DNA has one of the highest concentrations. The place called the Kingdom of Judah. The place also called the Slave Coast, a place where transatlantic slaves were taken from. As the following reference reads, and reads that John III, King of Portugal, sent a colony there above 200 years before, whom though the unwholesome air destroyed, yet the place was not left desolate, for he sent new inhabitants, who first settled Guinea, next Angola, and lastly on the island of St. Thomas, that so they might be better used to the air, that the said king sold all those Jews for slaves that refused to embrace the Roman religion, and caused their children to be baptized, from whom coming there in great numbers, most of the present inhabitants were descended. And the next reference reads, and it reads, the old writers called it Judah, and its inhabitants were said to be Jews, while the neighboring river Alala, whose real name is Ephra, became the Euphrates. During the flourishing days of the slave trade, from 16 to 18,000 were annually transported from Ajuda, as the Portuguese called this place, which at the time had a population of 35,000. And yes, Ajuda means help, and Ajuda also means Judah. So keep this in mind, family, that the kingdom of Judah was also called Dahomey. Now, whether it's called the kingdom of Judah, the slave coast, or Dahomey, it was known that the tribe of Judah had many settlements in that region, which is why your DNA is found there in one of the highest concentrations in Africa. As the following reference reads, and it reads, the eye dwells with delight upon the numerous country villages, like the 115 towns of the tribe of Judah, and upon the thin forest of palms rising from the tapestry of herbage, here waving, they're cut short, which combine to make this spot the Freitas, or paradise of the homeland. You see, fam, the Ashkenazi are quick to switch your name tag. You see, fam, keep this in mind, family, that the kingdom of Judah was also called Dahomey. Now, whether it's called the kingdom of Judah, the slave coast, or Dahomey, it was known that the tribe of Judah had many settlements in that region, which is why your DNA is found there in one of the highest concentrations in Africa. As the following reference reads, and it reads, the eye dwells with delight upon the numerous country villages, like the 115 towns of the tribe of Judah, and upon the thin forest of palms rising from the tapestry of herbage, here waving, they're cut short, which combine to make this spot the Freitas, or paradise of the homeland. You see, fam, the Ashkenazi are quick to switch your name tag because they claim the tribe of Judah for themselves. Even though their skulls are brachiocephalic and the ancient Judean skulls in the city of Judah in Lachish is dolichocephalic, even though they don't match the depiction of Judah on the Lachish relief in the London Museum, and even though the ancient skulls of Judah were identified and classified as Egypto-Nubian, and they are not. Family, it appears as though someone is attempting to steal your identity again. And with that, fam, let's take a closer look. Okay, fam, let's get into it. So what's this thing about Black Germany? And more importantly, why should you care? Well, if you have taken a DNA test and uploaded your results to mytrueancestry.com, which compares your DNA to ancient DNA extracted from archaeological sites, well, fam, now would be a good time to bring up your My True Ancestry DNA report. And once you've logged on, click on Maps and Globes, then navigate to Germany as seen on the screen. And the first thing you'll notice is that many of you so-called Negroes have DNA matches in Germany, mostly Southern Germany. Now, why in the world would so-called Negro DNA be found in Southern Germany? In the place where the Jews lived. That's right, fam. So let's take a look at a map to see exactly where the Jews of Southern Germany lived. Okay, this is a map of Germany. And notice the region located to the bottom right is called Bavaria. This was one of the locations of the early settlements of Israelites in Germany. And note that Bavaria is divided into Upper and Lower Bavaria. Now, the next place of interest on the map is highlighted in dark brown, called the Palatinate. This is also a location of early Israelite settlements in Germany. So fam, let's keep these Israelite settlements in mind when we review our My True Ancestry DNA results. Israelite settlements in Bavaria and Israelite settlements in the Palatinate. Now, let's read about the Jews of Bavaria to better understand your DNA results. And for that, let's go to the Jewish Virtual Library, which describes the Bavarian Jews. As the following reference reads, Bavaria, land in southern Germany, including Franconia. Jews are first mentioned there in the Passau toll regulations of 906. Here we go, fam, check it out. It says, their settlement was apparently connected with the trade routes to Hungary. Let's read that again. It says, their settlement was apparently connected with the trade routes to Hungary. Why is that important? Well, to answer that question, let's go back over to your My True Ancestry page to look at your map of Germany. And when we take a look at your map, we confirm that you indeed have a match in Bavaria, in both lower and upper Bavaria. But just as this reference states, you also have matches in Hungary that you can see over to the right. So over to the right, you should see a cluster of matches in Hungary, where the trade routes of the Jews in Bavaria have connections to. So fam, you literally have DNA to prove that you match that reference 100%. But wait fam, we haven't finished the sentence. Let's go back to our reference. Let's read our sentence again. It says, their settlement, this is referring to the Jews of Bavaria, it says, their settlement was apparently connected with the trade routes to Hungary. And we just confirmed that we have DNA connections in Hungary. But the next one, it says Southern Russia. Southern Russia? Well, let's go back over to our My True Ancestry DNA report and let's zoom out a little bit and let's go over to Russia. And if you notice, in Russia, most of you don't have matches in Northern Russia, but you have a bunch of matches, you guessed it, in Southern Russia. Just as described by the Jewish Virtual Library. Family, you are matching this reference 110%. But wait fam, we have one more location to match on this reference. Let's go back over to the Jewish Virtual Library and let's finish out our sentence. And it says, their settlement was apparently connected with the trade routes to Hungary, Southern Russia, and it says, and northeastern Germany. So you guessed it fam, let's go back over to our My True Ancestry report. Let's pull up our map of Germany again and let's take a look, and you'll notice that you have a match in northeastern Germany. Northeastern Germany. You see fam, you are the people, you match this reference 110%. Now fam, let's finish out this reference by dropping down to the second paragraph, and it reads, in 1442, the Jews were again expelled from Upper Bavaria. Now, just pause here for a second, fam. Now, notice that 1442, this was around the time that the Brews of Spain and Portugal were being persecuted as well, fam. But you can see that this persecution in Germany happened before they were expelled in Spain. So keep that in mind. All right, let's go back to our reference, and it says, in 1442, the Jews were again expelled from Upper Bavaria. Shortly afterwards, in 1450, the Jews in Lower Bavaria were flung into prison until they paid the Duke a ransom of 32,000 crowns and were then driven from the duchy. As a result of agitation by the Franciscan John, they were expelled from Franconia. In 1479, they were expelled from Passau. In 1499, from Nuremberg. In 1519, from Regensburg. The few remaining thereafter in the Duchy of Bavaria were expelled in 1551. Subsequently, Jewish settlement in Bavaria ceased until toward the end of the 17th century, when a small community was formed in Sobach by refugees from Vienna. In other words, there were replacement Jews that came from Italy and started settling in Germany. Okay, fam, you might want to put that seatbelt on. It gets a little bumpy from here. You see, the road we're taking is unpaved road. So let's begin. So for our journey, to understand where we're going, you have to understand where we've been. Matched the history of the Jews in Bavaria, Germany, showing related Germany, territory of the Jews called were they black? As the following reference reads, and it reads, differing originally in language, though even the oldest of the present generation know nothing of the German tongue, spoken or written, as well as in race and religion from the natives among whom they were planted. These Palatines still cling together like the members of a clan and worship together. It says most of them have a distinctly foreign type of features and are strongly built, swarthy in complexion, dark-haired, and brown-eyed. So you see, fam, most of the Palatine are swarthy in complexion. This is confirmed by Palatine and brown-eyed. So you see, fam, most of the Palatine are swarthy in complexion. This is confirmed by Benjamin Franklin in 1751 in a paper titled Observations Concerning the Increase of Man 51 complexion. Most of the Palatine are swarthy in complexion. This is confirmed by Benjamin Franklin in 1751 in a paper titled Observations Concerning.
I can't remember what the first thing I ever found was, if it's Benjamin Franklin or
Increase of mankind. In his paper, Benjamin Franklin voices his support for a white America and a band by time are brown-eyed. So you see, fam, most of the Palatine are swarthy in complexion. This is confirmed by Benjamin Franklin in 1751 in a paper titled Observations Concerning the Increase of Mankind. In his paper, Benjamin Franklin voices his support for a white America and a banning of the so-called black people in America. One of the black groups he wanted to ban from America were the swarthy Palatines of southern Germany. As the following reference reads, and it reads, and since detachments of English from Britain sent to America will have their places at home soon supplied and increased so largely here, why should the Palatine Boers be suffered to swarm into our settlements, and by herding together establish their language and manners to the exclusion of ours? Why should Pennsylvania, founded by the English, become a colony of aliens who will shortly be so numerous as to Germanize us instead of our Anglifying them, and will never adopt our language or customs any more than they can acquire our complexion? Which leads me to add one other remark, that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionally small. All Africa is black or tawny. Asia, chiefly tawny. America, exclusive of the newcomers, wholly so. So in other words, fam, he's saying America is tawny, Asia is tawny, and Africa is tawny. Let's keep reading, fam. It says, and in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, and the Swedes are generally of what we call, listen, a swarthy complexion, as are the Germans also. What? Well, I thought the Germans were white. Well, according to Benjamin Franklin, the Germans were a swarthy complexion. But we'll come back to this, fam. But let's keep reading. It says, the Saxons only accepted, who with the English make the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. What? Fam, you got to get this. It says, the Saxons only, along with the English, They make up the principal body of the white people on the face of the earth. Now, this is according to Benjamin Franklin. Now, you have to wonder, family, what was Benjamin Franklin talking about when he's implying that the only white people during this time were the English people and the Saxons? That says a lot, fam, because the Saxons were, not only were they in England, they were also in northern Germany. But let's keep reading, fam, because according to Benjamin Franklin, the Germans were swarthy. All right, let's keep reading. It says, I could wish their numbers were increased. And while we are, as I may recall it, scouring our planet by clearing America of woods and making this side of our globe reflect a brighter light to the eyes of inhabitants in Mars and Venus. Listen, fam, it says, why should we, in the sight of superior beings, darken its people? Why increase the sons of Africa by planting them in America, where we have so fair an opportunity by excluding all blacks and tawnies of increasing the lovely white and red? But perhaps I am partial to the complexion of my own country, for such kind of partiality is natural to mankind. Now, either Benjamin Franklin was drunk and had too much moonshine, or he's telling a truth that very few people know about today, that only the Saxons and the English made up the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. It's interesting, family, because as I stated before, the Saxons are in North Germany, where the Jews are indeed white. As the following reference reads, and it reads, we need go no further than the Jews of southern Spain and compare them.
Talking about the Spanish Jew is always dark complexion. The celebrated Nestorian bishop, who was in the county, the native of northern Persia, he is as quite as dark as a mulatto, while there is not even a remote possibility of his having had Hindu or Negro ancestors. So to me, what that's saying is that dark, as we were seeing earlier, dark can refer to mulatto. Mulatto is dark, so that confirms what the nigga who was talking like this was saying. Know what I'm saying? That pretty much confirms it if you ask me. But that's just if you ask me. And as I'm the brew himself. So we're gonna find that source, a treatise. We're gonna airdrop it to they have it. They have it. Right? So if they have it, you know what that means, right? We gotta get it in PDF form before it disappears, and then we'll add it to our list to get in print once we find what we need to find. So that's how you get these. Just says read ebook. Right there. Right there, right there. So we got another jewel, another gem. This shit is just gonna keep adding up, brother. So then when we get to doing this shit, it's no doubt, and it's not hard to teach other people, because we want to take all this stuff and we want to actualize it. We want to give it some depth. We want to bring it to life to where anybody.
With those of Holland and, listen, fam, it says northern Germany, to perceive a very striking difference. The Spanish Jew is always dark complexion, and his hair is uniformly black, while the German Jew is often as fair as any German and has light or red hair with blue eyes. Now we're going to come back.
He's skipping something though, because look what it says here though. That answers our question. The various shades of color observable among the Negro or African race tends to the same conclusion. Among the coast of Guinea, which is low, marshy, and hot, we find jet black complexions. So this is the very country from which American Negroes have been derived. So what I'm focusing on is how it's saying the various shades of color observable among the Negroes. So uh, 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 um, among the Negro or African race tends to the same conclusion. So it's basically in a roundabout way, right? To me, confirming that uh, it's saying the various shades of color observable among the Negro tends to the same conclusion, right? So the same conclusion as the Spanish Jew and the German Jew, which is some are dark complexion and some are light with red hair and blue eyes. So
Any German and has light or red hair with blue eyes. Now we're going to come back to that red hair and blue eyes. So just keep that in the back of your mind, fam. Red hair and blue eyes. That's associated with these Jews in northern Germany. All right, well, let's return back to our reference here, fam. Benjamin Franklin in his paper states he wants to exclude all blacks and tawnies from America. I'm sorry, fam. Did they teach us this in school? Did you know that Benjamin Franklin did not want the so-called black man in America? That he wanted white America? That he didn't want any swarthy Jeremy Palatine? But I thought that all Germans were white. What's Benjamin Franklin talking about? What's this reference referring to swarthy Palatines talking about? Well, fam, this is referring to the fact that at one time, Germany was black. This is supported and confirmed by anthropologists and DNA. When examining ancient remains, anthropologists noted that Germany changed from a dolichocephalic people to a brachiocephalic people. In other words, they saw that the white skulls eventually replaced the black skulls. As the following reference reads, and it reads, dolichocephalic. Such skulls are called dolichocephalic and are typical of Australian Aborigines.
music and all this extra shit and just show niggas what it is and just make it plain and simple. It's gonna be a lot easier for niggas to comprehend this shit, you know.
It's the black Australians
Just want the meat off the bones.
and native Southern Africans. And the next reference reads, and it reads, German anthropologists agree that the average cephalic index of Southern Germany had changed from dolichocephalic to brachiocephalic in the Iron Age. Now note, fam, that anthropologists agree that brachiocephalic replaced dolichocephalic. In addition, DNA analysis have even pinpointed the group who brought white skin and red hair into Europe. It's the DNA of a group of people who invaded Europe from the Caucasus Mountain. As the following reference reads, and it reads, R1 populations spread genes for light skin, blonde hair, and red hair. And it
Now he's going fucking deep. This is science right here. This dude is on point.
into Europe. It's the DNA of a group of people who invaded Europe from the Caucasus Mountain. As the following reference reads, and it reads, R1 populations spread genes for light skin, blonde hair, and red hair. And it reads, the principal Proto-Germanic branches of the Indo-European family tree is R1b-S21. And it dropped down to the next paragraph and it says, the presence of R1b-S21 in other parts of Europe can be attributed almost exclusively to the Germanic migrations that took place between the 3rd and 10th centuries. Family. This quote gets into the overall history of Germany, which we'll talk about briefly here. So in general, modern day historians agree that modern day Germans came from somewhere else. In other words, historians agree that many modern day Germans aren't the original Germans. These German invaders are described by Tacitus as red hair and blue-eyed invaders. Remember, we talked about the Jews being red hair and blue eyes. Remember that, fam? These are the people who conquered Rome, took over rulership, and made themselves the kings and queens and became the head of the new Holy Roman Empire. So basically, the Red Dragon came under new management. These dramatic invaders took over Germany, Spain, Portugal, France, and England. Basically, they took over Europe. Now, keep in mind, family, these red-haired, blue-eyed invaders were the same people who expelled the Spanish and Portuguese brood.
That's hard because these motherfuckers came in and just took over from the West. They just really took over, but really it wasn't like that. It was just, we fought, but just the visual of them running across like that and taking over all shit, really sticking together, survival of the fittest type shit. Now they
blue-eyed invaders were the same people who expelled the Spanish and Portuguese brews from Spain in 1492. If you look at the pictures of the king and queen of Spain, some pictures portray them as red-haired Christian monarchs. These Germans were called the Goths in Spain, the Franks in France and Germany, and the Saxons in England. Different names, same people. Red hair, blue eyes was their mark of distinction, just as the color red was the mark of distinction of the Red Dragon. It's deep, fam. When you talk about the people who placed many of the so-called Negroes on the transatlantic slave ships, you're talking about the red-haired, blue-eyed people. They literally started the transatlantic slave trade. These people who came from the Caucasus Mountains are synonymous with Esau, a people who lived by the sword and conquered the world. The people in the Bible who had a perpetual hatred for his brother Jacob, Israel. In a recent YouTube post, I pointed out that if you look at the pictures of those who have committed the most heinous massacres against the so-called Negro in the United States, you'll find a lot of red-haired, blue-eyed perpetrators. This includes the latest massacre in Buffalo. However, that's a story for another day, fam. The main takeaway here is that these red-haired, blue-eyed people have been persecuting swarthy black folks for a very, very long time. With that said, fam, let's talk about the Holy Roman Empire. Now, the Holy Roman Empire, at its heart, you'll find Germany. Its secular princes ruled from within the Palatinate, the very place where the Jews lived. And when we look at the family crest of the people living in Bavaria and the Palatinate, we find pictures of black people. So most high willing, we will take a closer look into this in part 2 of Black Germany. So for now, family, we will end part 1. I know that we've covered a lot of information today. However, we needed to lay the foundation for our journey into Black Germany and our eventual journey into the end times, the revealing of Esau, and what to expect in these last days. Video.
Shalom and shalom, people. Welcome to part 2 of Black Lives Matter versus the Moors. If you haven't seen part 1, please go watch that before watching this video. Before I forget, I probably should have been doing this from the inception of my channel. Subscribe and like the videos because it helps so it can help hit the algorithm so this information can get out to more people. But with all of that being said, let's get cracking on with the video. So we're going to go through this article right here. Now the title reads, "There's no excuse for buying or decorating with black and Moors. The figures are a clear symbol of centuries of racism." That is completely false because they have the false understanding of black and Moors are quote unquote decorations and jewelry made by Caucasian slave masters. But we're going to read the article to see where they're coming from. So it reads that
It's important to note that the royal Yaya Negroes of Spain and Portugal are true descendants from the tribe of Judah and the royal house of David, and were settled in Spain from the time of the captivity of the first temple by Nebuchadnezzar. And only were the descendants of Jehoiakim or Jeconiah in Spain, according to the descendants or the additional cognomen. Certain individuals of the family bore the additional cognomen Negro, with reference to the Moors from whom several of their estates had been obtained. The more prominent members of the family are as follows. Yahya ibn Yaish flourished in Lisbon in the 11th century, died about 1150. He was held in high esteem among the Jews, and King Alfonso I honored him for his courage. After the conquest of Santarem, the king presented him with 2 country houses that had belonged to the Moors, wherefore he assumed the name Negro. Hallelujah. So you see, fam, not only were the descendants of Jehoiakim or Jeconiah in Spain, according to their genealogy, but we also see that they themselves stated that they were from the house of Judah, from the lineage of King David. As the following reference reads, "The Spanish Jew are the true descendants from the tribe of Judah and the royal house of David, and were settled in Spain from the time of the captivity of the first temple by Nebuchadnezzar." And the next reference reads, "The Western Jews pretend, moreover, that some of the most considerable families of the tribes of Judah, that some of the captivity, the true descendants from the tribe."
My Google don't work, but my Safari work. source. Found it. All I gotta do is Google the. Look, I'll show you. So look, I just Googled whatever, you know what I'm saying? Since he didn't list his source, I just Googled it. You're gonna go down, you're gonna go down. It took a little minute to find, but let's see. It's gonna say Google Books, and it's gonna be right here. Right here, Gentleman's Magazine. So this is where we find the book. Part volume 144. Volume 144. What's the fucking chances? If this is it. Just get it anyways. Don't look Spanish Jews. Should be able to find that right here with the search. If this is even it. Found it, page 377. And still don't want to take us right to it, but we found the book. We know it's on page 377. We found a source, so we can move on.
tribe of Judah.
And that confirms that they're of the tribe of Judah.
The royal house of David, and were settled in Spain from the time of the captivity.
How you find this type of shit for yourself.
The first temple by Nebuchadnezzar. And the next reference reads, the Western Jews pretend, moreover, that some of the most considerable families of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin went and settled in Sephard.
I'm trying to basically find some shit on King Philip II and shit like that. You know how we get all the way down there. And tying him to I don't know, just Spain period, I guess. Really, I'm just going with the flow now that I think about it.
Or Spain. And the next reference reads, but to come to rabbinical authors, Abarbanel, in his commentary on Zechariah, the Lord also shall save the tents of Judah, affirms that at the desolation of the first temple, 2 families of the house of David came and settled in Spain, one at Lucena and the other, the Abarbanels, at Seville. And from these came 1,000 offshoots. And on the right side of the page it reads, at a conference held in Aragon before the anti-pope in 1414, this number was also given by the Jews. Abarbanel afterwards gave the same number, but divided it into 40,000 families of Judah and 10,000 families of Benjamin and the priests. The scepter of Judah still later says that the number of Israel brought out of all Palestine into Spain at that time exceeded the number of those brought out of Egypt by Moses. And the next reference reads, King Alonso, whence we may learn, if we can believe it, that a king of Spain who had assisted Nebuchadnezzar in reducing Jerusalem brought an enormous population into Spain, all from either the family of David or at least from the tribe of Judah, and that the royal population who had Alonso, whence we may learn, if we can believe it, that a king of Spain who had assisted Nebuchadnezzar in reducing Jerusalem brought an enormous population into Spain, all from either the family of David or at least from the tribe of Judah, and that the royal family resided first in Seville, then in Granada, adding that the exiles afterwards had their numbers greatly increased by fugitives from the desolation of the second temple. Family. Reference after reference, page after page, shows that the Spanish and Portuguese brews stated that they were descended from the house of Judah and descendant from King David. As the next reference reads, the Spanish Jews maintained that they had been transported hither after the destruction of the temple by the Babylonian conqueror Nebuchadnezzar. Certain Jewish families, the Ibn Dauds and the Abarbanels, boasted descent from the royal house of David and maintained that their ancestors had been settled since time immemorial, partly in the district of Lucena and partly in the environs of Toledo and Seville. And the next reference reads, how numerously the Jews had settled in some parts of Spain is shown by the names which they conferred upon the localities. The city of Granada was called the city of the Jews in former times on account of its being entirely inhabited by them. Jumping ahead to the right, Granada was named numerously Toledo, David, Daud, and transported that
source. We want as much references as we can to place the Jews in there, because that's where we're going with it. just gonna airdrop it just to show you that I'm finding it. You know what I'm saying? I put in a lot of fucking work. I'm glad I got this shit recorded. Just for that fact. We doing a million things right now. Well, really, what is there to do? Well, my whole life revolves around the fact and the reality of who I am, my identity, you know. We gotta monetize this shit, man. That's what we supposed to do.
Certain Jewish families, the Ibn Dauds and the Abarbanels, boasted descent from the royal house of David and maintained that their ancestors had been settled since time immemorial, partly Jews in former times, to self-identify after identifying as the house of Judah, self-identifying as the descendants of King David. However, tried and remade from the testimony of the Brews of Spain and Portugal, from Jerusalem to Babylon, and all the nobles of Judah and Jerusalem.
That's key. At least just to know that that's what they're referencing, where they came from. Okay. Connected biblically. Oh, my shit's still not working. They don't want me to find this shit, nigga. It's too late. Add that to our reading.
You see, fam, it's important to know the genealogy of the Yahya Negroes going all the way back to King David, which you can find on the top left under Roman numeral 2, where you'll see David. And then also under Roman numeral 2, near the bottom of that section, you'll see Jehoiakim, and you'll also see his son, Jeconiah. Now, it's also important to stress that it was the descendants of the king of Judah who were called the Yahyas, who were also called Negroes. In other words, fam, the word Negro, it literally traces back to the descendants of King David or King Daud. As the following reference reads, and it reads, Yahya, a Portuguese family of the Middle Ages, members of which were prominent in Portugal, Spain, Italy, and Turkey. Certain individuals of the family bore the additional cognomen Negro, with reference to the Moors from whom several of their estates had been obtained. The more prominent members of the family are as follows. Yahya ibn Yaish flourished in Lisbon in the 11th century, died about 1150. He was held in high esteem among the Jews, and King Alfonso I honored him for his courage. After the
Hold on, let me see. The Portuguese nobleman who's reputed to be a direct descendant of Hebrew. Oh, this is even more. Oh, this is even more. Oh, wow, bro. This is crazy what you find. This is even more confirmation connecting, bro. Like, found more in Negro. Oh yeah, wow, this brother's on point. Direct descent, right? Being Yaya, so Lisbon, that's what respected by us. Lord of the village of the Negroes. So he called himself the Negro. Yeah, the Negro. Yaish Abin. Oh, this is gonna be crazy right here. Oh yeah, look, see, this is the page we're looking for. The exact one. Where they say they descend from David, yeah. I mean, this is how you pretty much do this, right? You export all this shit as a PDF. Send it. Wow, so they didn't trace all the families back. That's crazy. We'll do some research on this document itself and get an overview of what it's alleged to be.
Conquest at Santirum, the king presented him with 2 country houses that had belonged to the Moors, wherefore he assumed the name Negro. Hallelujah. So you see, fam, not only were the descendants of Jehoiakim or Jeconiah in Spain, according to their genealogy, but we also see that they themselves stated that they were from the house of Judah, from the lineage of King David. As the following reference reads, the Spanish Jew are the true descendants from the tribe of Judah and the royal house of David, and were settled in Spain from the time of the captivity of the first temple by Nebuchadnezzar. And the next reference reads, the Western Jews pretend, moreover, that some of the most considerable families of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin went and settled in Sephard or Spain. And the next reference reads, but to come to rabbinical authors, Abarbanel, in his commentary on Zechariah, the Lord also shall save the tents of Judah, affirms that at the desolation of the first temple, 2 families of the house of David came and settled in Jerusalem. As you the bruises of like only was king. Believe. But chose the tribe of Judah, the Mount Zion, 5 times in the Holy Book. And also note, Bibles to First Chronicles chapter 28, verses 1 through 5. That's First Chronicles chapter 28, verses 1 through 5 reads, "And David assembled all the princes of Israel, the princes of the tribe of my father. He liked me to make me king from their first root, and so continue through their spreading branches, so far as the scripture giveth them sap. Are blessed, being of the very image of the invisible God, the brightness of the glory, and the engraven form of his person, in whom dwelleth the fullness of the Godhead." Called Ephrathites, as the father from among his brethren, and from the gate of his place. You are witnesses this day. And all the people that were in the gate and the elders said, We are witnesses. Yahuwah make the woman that is come into thine house like Rachel and like Leah, which two did build the house of Israel, and do thy worthily in Ephratah. So both Aminadab, and Aminadab begat Nashon. Nashon begat Salmon, and Salmon begat what the kinsman or the brother and Onan, Shelah and Pharez. Hallelujah. And the next reference reads, and it reads, First Chronicles chapter of Judah. Now we can go back and read Ruth chapter 4, verses 18 through 22 to see that these verses have zero wiggle room in regards to the lineage of Boaz. As far as this lineage is concerned, Boaz is of the lineage of Judah. Ruth chapter 4 verse 18 reads, instead of the genealogy explicitly defined in Ruth chapter 4. You see, Ruth chapter 4, we know who Boaz's father is. However, we don't know who Boaz is in relation to Elimelech. In other words, Ruth does not tell the reader if Boaz is Elimelech's son, father, brother, first cousin, second cousin, or an Israelite from Judah related through marriage. Boaz's family link to Elimelech isn't defined in those terms. Instead, one would have to guess based on the interpretation of the following verses. Let's take a look at Ruth chapter 2 verse 1 reads, and Naomi had a kinsman of her husband's, a mighty man of wealth, of the family of Elimelech, and his name was Boaz. Now, unfortunately, fam, some people use this verse to say that Boaz is a descendant of Ephraim because it refers to Boaz as a kinsman and being of the family of Elimelech. The mistake here, fam, is that some of our brothers and sisters don't take the time to look up the words kinsman or the phrase of the family of Elimelech in the Strong's Concordance. You see, fam, Strong's will show you what these words mean. For example, let's Strong 9, which means Strong's H4940, which is Mishpachah. A verse. Before we go putting Boaz on the E4B, and just to keep things family, change as seen. You see, and Oz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, that Rezin the king. In the midst of it, they are saying, let us replace the house of David. So it goes without saying, fam, Ephraim was against Judah. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 21. Manasseh, Ephraim, and
Shalom and shalom, brothers. So, in this video, we are going to be going over the meaning of words and how it references to so-called black people, while also backing up said meaning of words with some historical documentation. So with that being said, as usual, please subscribe, like the videos. Let's get straight into it. So when you think of the word brunette, you think of somebody with brown hair. But let's get what brunette meant in the Middle Ages. So brunette, of a woman, dark in complexion. Let's run that back. Of a woman, dark in complexion, having a brownish tone to the skin and hair. So why did they remove the skin complexion component? As I said, when you think of the word brunette today, you think of somebody with just brown hair, not skin. From French brunette, femme or brunette, from Old French, with dark hair and eyes and of a dark of all. The word tawny, tan colored, late 14th century, from Anglo-French tawn, of or like the brownish yellow of tanned leather, from Old French tannet, dark brown. So the word ruddy. Now what ruddy is a brown complexion with a reddish hue, a reddish undertone to it. Now we're going to read what they say, what ruddy means, and we're going to see how they caught this up, how they got caught up in their own lie. So it reads ruddy from the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. The word ruddy, a word used to refer to red or fair complexion, in contrast to the dark skin of the Hebrews. So they just admitted that the Hebrews are dark-skinned people. But in contrast, they just said that red is fair complexion. Now, wasn't King David described as ruddy? Doesn't King David come from the tribe of Judah? Doesn't Christ, aka Yahushua, come from the lineage of King David? And also from the tribe of Judah? You see how they tried to change the meaning of words and they got caught up in their own lie? Reddish hue, a reddish, as I stated, a brown complexion with a reddish hue. So you call ruddy as it has that reddish. Europe had a King Henry the. So the phrase or word copper colored, as I'm sure you brothers should be familiar with.
That's what I gotta show. When was that Queen Anne? She was called copper colored. Yup, that's gonna put the nail in the fucking coffin.
Adjective, of a reddish.
Who knows what ruddy means?
So American, an Aboriginal, or one of the various copper colored natives found on the American.
Hold on, I gotta find that. Save this too. What the fuck? I forgot about that. does not look like copper to me. That's copper. Even they know that's copper. Talking about ivory. How the fuck is that ivory? Oh, ivory, sorry. I meant olive. Natural. Yeah, how they call that natural? That's what happens when you go by their characteristics. I mean, their classification. Honey, golden, almond, chestnut, espresso. Chestnut, almond. Beautiful women. They still don't want to show what a copper color complexion is, huh? They just want to keep showing hair. How is this copper? How is this copper? Look, this is the shit we're gonna talk about, man. I can't wait to do that on my shit. Just get this shit off my screen. Fuck it.
Continent is Jacobite gleanings from state manuscripts. I already brought this out in past videos, so we're not going to go in depth in this. Then, number 4, Alex Catanach, 5'5", black, ruddy. Number 7, John Campbell, 5'2", suave. Once again, number 7, John Campbell. Once again, Michelangelo. So what we're going to do from that video, we are going to read the part about his skin complexion. So it reads, it was in 1508 before the victorious Pope was able to persuade the sculptor
Michelangelo, I forgot about him.
to return to Rome. Michelangelo was a suave man. Black nobles in Europe, in Yorkshire, Europe. Here we go. That Sir Stafford, Fairborn, Vice Admiral.
Worthy of a Moorish connection. I forgot. How did I forget about this one? Sir Stafford. Let's see who they say. Let's just look this up, right? We got that resource. That's one I gotta use. That's why we have to do all this deep diving in that pussy, because you know we getting better resources now. You know what I'm saying? We more prepared. Deep dive in that pussy. Deep dish, nigga. Deep dish, nigga. Fairborn. Guess I don't know who this is. Oh my god, this is perfect. This is perfect. This is fucking perfect. Why? How is this him? Who painted this? Who is this dude? No way. No way. Nope. So we know for a fact these are fakes because nah. Nah. Sorry. Show us the real shit. Nah. Where's the we know this nigga has a Moorish complexion. Nah. We just read what see we're gonna have to get into a debate about deep dive into what a Moor was. Or what Moorish meant. Right? say Moorish like. These people, man, they just keep changing words, man. It's okay. Since they want to keep changing words, let's do it like this, right? We'll just figure out what it used to mean, right? Pertaining to the Moors in Africa. Thank you. I thought we would have to do this, but those is clearly two different colors. This is what they tell you what olive skin is and tawny is, but then are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Even they know, man. Come on, bro. Interesting. Interesting. Where are they getting this from? Why would they call that that? was so crazy. Olive, moderate brown. White, fair, light, pale. So this is clearly negro. This is swarthy. This is tawny, olive. So this is a actual foundation standard. They call this earthly. They don't even want to tell us what earthly means. We can find it all around the world, man. Let's see.
Newcastle. He has the best estate in England and employs most of his time in improving it.
So we know what a black ruddy complexion man is because we found John. Okay, so this is all just adding up.
Yorkshire, and has a Duke of a sanguine complexion. One more time. He is said to have been a man of a complexion. D of St. Mary's Hall, Oxford. A man now once that sanguine with that reddish hue, that reddish undertone, that once Duke of Newcastle upon Tyne, John Hollis, was the son of the third Earl of Clare and his wife Grace Pierpont, Countess of Dunbar, known for her swarthy complexion as Black Agnes.
Go through this too.
So once again, Henry was like a lightish brown, a light-skinned.
Henry VII.
Elizabeth was 25 years old at her accession. She was tall and very slender, with a tiny waist, small bosom, and beautiful, long fingers and hands. History.
Oh,
We're gonna
we can
listen.
find that with old boy.
Now they're going to tell you the reason why she did this because it says olive, right? Swarthy olive. That means she was a very tan Caucasian and she didn't like being that tanned. So she tried to white because this is what they do. Now I'm not going to read this whole thing because this is going to be in its own video when I do the so-called Black Woman series on
From her father. From her father, she had red, naturally curly hair, high, and a hook nose.
Anne Boleyn. Speaking of Anne Boleyn, let's go get her. So brothers, this is the most accurate description of Anne Boleyn you're ever going to see. This is tokenism. To be see black lords and aristocrats walking in the background. They love to do things like these. As a noble, and it goes meaning of words or from roughly her own time, which associated Anne with the color black. One is from the Catholic propagandist Nicholas Sander, who was born after Anne died and was clearly out to make Anne sound as witch-like as possible, with an extra digit, a huge war and other deformities that would surely, if true, have eliminated Anne from Henry's list of marriageable ladies.
And they're saying it's not clear that the medievals had a term for dark red hair. I thought it was supposed to be ruddy.
The other is be taken. This is of complexion. This is what they do. So the night coat, a metaphor which cannot be taken physically descriptive. All other sources describe her simply as dark or brunette because she was a dark-skinned woman. Brunette trans. So going over the term olive skin again. I forgot to add this when I was a pleasing countenance.
When I started my business in 2011, I chose Wix, and it was really because the aesthetic that Wix brought to my brand really elevated my brand. I do advertisements through Wix to Instagram and to Facebook, which in turn bring me lots of new customers as well as keep tabs on my existing customers. I also use Wix email marketing platform very often. It's a great way to drive sales. So what's my goal for the future? To keep growing.
Hey you, yeah you, missed too many tabs labeled My New Business. That's a good start, but the real start is registering your LLC with Zen Business. It only takes 5 steps. 1, select
So again, we're in this book, The Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Science Temple of America. Again, same author. Just this is the actual, I believe, thesis. Stabilization of the movement.
In 1920.
All right, so now we're actually in and fall of man. All right, and it goes on right there. All right, we're not going to read all this book. Draft cards and census records. Drew, who actually has some census records, he converted to Islam after a visit.
Something Benjamin Franklin said of this book, and this is what Benjamin Franklin says, hue or dusky complexion, tawny in warm climates. The complexion of man is universally what? Swarthy or what? Black in warm climates. Is there only warm climates in Africa? No, we have warm.
Here we go, swarthy or black. So that's how we know exactly what swarthy means.
climates all over the world, right? The Moors, Spaniards, and Italians are more.
How any more plain you gotta make it. Black as a swarthy African. Africans were called swarthy or black. So we know what swarthy means. This is how we know what swarthy means. This is just craziness.
Swarthy. All right, black as the swarthy Africans. Germans, we suffer to swarm into our settlement any more than they can adopt our complexion. Melanated people, all right, of dark complexion. This castle right here, all right. So you see, these are melanated people. You see their complexion.
This dude has a lot of good sources, man. This dude.
German tapestry, all right, the first German tapestry to be acquired from.
Fury Road. I've been thinking about what genre it's in. It's not a historical story, it's not a philosophical story, it's not a fantasy, but it's all of those.
For the museum, should be an outstanding example of an important period in history of European tapestry weaving. The purchase of this tapestry was a part of the Sigmaringen whole number 303, pages 5 to 13.
Oh yeah, I need that. Yeah, this ain't even what I was trying to get.
15 to believe. Each frame in a stylized plan. Book, and it's the same image right around the loins, where any characteristics must be house signs, chimneys.
Man, we're gonna have to get into the wild man shit because of what it really. That's some real shit that they're not ready for, but I think it's about that time how it connects to that these wild men were real people. They weren't bathing, and that they were taught how to talk, and then we'll literally break it down because that's going to be some rough info. It's not a myth, man. Not if you've read it and seen the information, but that's the point.
Because if he was to show his arms to your average black person, and if a Caucasian was to tell him or her that this is a slave, unfortunately, a lot of our people would believe that. So let's read the narrative that the elite Caucasians have to come up with to try and explain off why these crests exist. Because if he was to show his arms to your average black person, and if a Caucasian was to tell him or her that this is a slave, unfortunately, a lot of our people would believe that. So let's read the narrative that the elite Caucasians have to come up with to try and explain off why these crests exist. In Scovia Loca, there is a legend about Prince Abraham.
Members of Russian nobility. So you're telling me this dude that got kidnapped from Africa, raised to become the military engineer general in Russia, and all of his children became Russian nobility. Okay. Hey, as I said, Imperial City between 1135 and 11. Imperial City of the Holy Roman Empire. That was image. You see this right here?
once again used in the seals of the city. But this symbol was authorized in 1470 by the Holy Roman Emperor Friedrich or Frederick III. And yes, Friedrich was also a so-called black man, as was the whole of the Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire. As a matter of fact, let's just get into that right now. Let's prove that. We're going to prove that blacks rule over the Holy Roman of Roman Emperor Charles. Now this is an excerpt from the Inca Emperor.
I want to go to the brother that say he found that was Charles V.
Read so.
Because he was on point with how he said he found.
This right here is a coin of Roman Emperor King of Bohemia. You see the images that I got here, the portraits and the coins. You tell me if that's a black man or not. Right here is one of my favorites I love to showcase, because it just speaks for itself, man. This is a Moor statue located. Look at that.
It's a dude who actually knows who these people are, and he tells you how he sourced it, or he alleges to know. But I've read it, and I would bet that the brother knows. You know what I'm saying? All these damn crafts, man. Connected with the info that we have to the unknown mind, so that they don't feel like this is just confirmation biased, right? What in the fuck? Yeah, we got to see the narrative of why they're saying there are blacks. Yeah, we're gonna when we get into the crest. So much shit we gotta do, bro. We can easily disprove that, right? Yeah, I gotta have a good explanation for this, right? Here we go.
Let's talk about BetterHelp. If you ever feel anxious, depressed, stressed, overwhelmed by the world being very much on fire, BetterHelp can step in with their fleet of licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you. 2 years ago, when the lockdown started, I think that a lot of us started feeling
Like when you start hearing that, oh, this was just something they did, like, yo, no. this is not true right here. These people, I'm gonna have to start saving.
Getting an LLC for your business doesn't have to look like this. Just Google LLC Taylor Brands. It's totally easy. You pick a state, you fill out your information, you give your business a name, and you're done.
Of course they would say that. Of course they would say that. We need this.
Now clearing for entry.
Oh, we beat the Moors. We're at war with the Moors for years. And which one is it? Is it you beat the Moors and that's what the Moors look like, or is that not what Moors even means?
Hello, everyone. This is COADB.com, or the Coat of Arms database, about the temples Argent and Sable, a Theon of the Fields.
Like, I don't want to hear this dude explain shit. You know, I might slap the shit out of him. This is so crazy, bro. Let's just go to where are we at, my boy, right here. He got the books with the
In a lot of cases, you'll see more so-called black. Wapen den Chingting, Wapen.
Yes, sir. We need that. That's what we need right there. That's what we've been looking for. That's what we're gonna get into. As a mosquito or gnat or whatever's eating me up. Yes, sir. Give it up. Give it up, nigga. Yup, give it up. Y'all just showed me by class. Yup, yup, yup. This nigga name, Clace. Oh, now they don't know this dude, huh? It's okay, y'all know him. Nah, we don't want nothing else. Where is it at? Where they at, man? Come on, come on. Go ahead. We need it. We need it. We need that free download. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's over for these niggas. I found this motherfucker. I knew it. I mean, I knew I would find it. As you can see, I have multiple videos with all these sources, so everything I see, I can go get. But it's time to compile, man. I'm tired of this shit. It's time to show. We want to get back to my boy King Philip, man. That's my most interesting shit. I like King Philip for some reason. Really, I don't know shit about King Philip other than he was a mulatto. But we found a lot of his pictures show who he is, and so that shows the intermixing. You know what I'm saying? So we want to get to that point because that's probably like the deepest I went into explaining something. But let's see. Yes, sir. I want that. I definitely want that. I want the real shit though. I damn near want the real book of this shit. Helmets, right? Nah, let's get to them crests. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come on, man. Oh, they defeated the Moors. We gotta look up that narrative because I knew that was one of the explanations. But really, I never heard that one, but I've heard other ones. Look, you even got a black woman. You got a sister right here. Come on, man. You know, a nigga like me, I do it till it's done being done. We got that one, right?
Memorial produced in the late 1800s, and right here, and this is the family coat of arms. As I said, all European family coat of arms. That's a European family in the root cases. You'll see there's the name if you can do this. Pill. So-called black family.
Come on, my nigga. Notice what you need to do, but come on, bro.
Don't advertise on Google Ads or Facebook before blocking click fraud with Clixies. Not a fun fact. 1 out of every 4 clicks is fraudulent. Lucky you. Clixies.
Long braid coming down. European families, you see of arms book or armorial from 1395, all right? 13.
Who's this one from?
95. Right, real quick, huh? We're at the Brotherhood of St. Christoph of Alberg. The only reason, all right? So a couple of these manuscripts, you know, we went into them. So for example, look what's in there. And, you know, most of you can see, ones they never, all right, related. It was very interesting. Members for you guys to know is because they have a bunch of manuscripts in their website of coat of arms that had, you know, was very interesting and very important for us to see and know about. All right. So a couple of these manuscripts, you know, we went into them. So for example, we're going to go into this book. It says Book of Messengers of the Brotherhood of St. Christoph and Malberg. It says the owners of the Royal Bavarian Order of the Knights of St. George, huh? So, why do they own that stuff? So let's go take a look what's in. Click on a, might be your friend. Just want to show you this one. Look at this one. Wow. People, but the ones that what is, all right? That's the crest right here. Queen, sword. When you go into the book, look at that. All right? Who's that right there? go down. You can see not too many people represented. All right, and here's a breadth right here. Got here, or manuscript, very old manuscripts they have here. It says Virgil Ray. All right, old manuscripts they have here. Right, this other book they got here, or manuscript, very.
It is okay to be so stressed and overwhelmed that you feel like you need to talk to someone about it. And by that, I mean going to therapy. Lately, the transition from college into post-grad and working full-time and adulting has been really stressful. It's a lot of change.
There's Konrad Grunenberg Wappenbook. Right, so Dusseldorf. This is at I have a Wappenbook. Okay, now we're gonna get into the Konrad Grunenberg.
You sleep? Nah, not yet. Sorry, you're not. No, not yet. Why would you be asleep? Huh? Why would you be asleep? Literally, why are you asleep? I want you to be asleep. Uh-huh. Are you fucking kidding me? Huh? You sound fucking crazy. You literally sound fucking crazy saying that. I don't even know why you would say that. What you doing? Now you wanna know what I'm doing? Some research, duh. Got some shit to teach. Did you already make page or no? I'm making one right now. You're in it. Found these coat of arms with these black dudes on here. What you think? So I found these coat of arms with these black dudes on here. Oh, I forgot I'm being recorded. Oh my god.
like 3 times and 4 times in a row. What the heck?
What can I say?
Straight up.
Weapon book. So weapon means coat of arms, and book, right? Book. So the weapon book of Conrad Grunenberg, 1480. It says here 1480, and this is I believe a university site. I have 2 versions of this. One right here. This is at Heinrich Heine Universität Düsseldorf. All right. And again, there's Conrad Grunenberg weapon book. All right, and we got 2 images. King David. This is Prester John, 32. I'm gonna show you. Where did you get that? How do you know that's Prester John? Look at that. All right, so you see back on page 3 of this book with the content.
Man, what book is this, nigga?
Here. This number 32. That's what I was looking for, because it told me that I would find Prester John on page 32 or number 32. Prester John. Look at this. King David. Is this Prester John? 32. I'm gonna show you. Where did you get that? How do you know that's Prester John? Look at that. All right, so you see back on page 3 of this book where the contents are, it said right here, Prester Johann, or Priest John Priest, Prester John, Trechtenbill 32, right? You see 32, Johann de Priester 31 and 32, Johann Priester, all right? You see that? Go back to it. The priest king, the Prester Johannes, aka King David. All right, you see how he got kings under him? King of kings, right? You see they all got crowns. They all copper colored, so-called Negro. All right, Prester John, aka King David, in this book of coat of arms. Look, he got jewels and gold all decked out. See that? Copper colored, so-called.
Create a professional logo that best reflects your brand. Just go to Wix Logo Maker. Answer a few questions about your business and style.
Hendrik Van Hazel. This is of the Tyra family of engravers and publishers. I want to bring you to this part of the book, this page right here, showing this very elegant, beautiful coat of arms. All right, it says Grafen von Mohr. All right, as you can see. So now I want to bring EE website, Saxon, Austria.